is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
Good morning from Houston, where today from Minute Maid Park, the Angels wrap up a 3-game series with the Astros. We open today's telecast from Johnson Space Center, which has popularly become known as Mission Control. And if you've ever wondered why Houston picked the name Astros for their baseball team, well, there's a little history lesson. It was 1961, the year the Angels were born. It was also the year that John F. Kennedy would famously announce the nation's plan to land on the moon. Soon after, this site just outside of Houston was selected to become the heart of the nation's space program, or NASA. A few years later, with Houston looking to shed the nickname the Colt 45s and with the space program being in their backyard, the Astros were born. So pull up a chair and get ready for the series finale from Space City, USA. This telecast of Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is brought to you by Hyundai. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. By Jack in the Box, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack is back. Taste it before it's gone. By your Southern California Toyota dealers. By Mercury Insurance, on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast free quote and see how much you can save. And by the Jeep Renegade. Find your inner renegade and reach your highest potential with an EPA estimated 31 highway miles per gallon.
Where we're getting you ready for the finale of the 3-game series. Being Hall of Fame Sunday throughout the baseball world, we talk to the future Hall of Famer, Albert Pujols, about who his favorite Hall of Famer of all time is. Here's the machine on the man.
To have an opportunity to come out to St. Louis and not know anything about the stand the man, until I got to St. Louis and just started reading books and the history and the things that he did for the Cardinals organization was pretty amazing. And to have the opportunity to meet him and just to spend time to talk a little bit about hitting and just being around him, man. It was, I remember like with hanging with those guys, when they walk into that clubhouse, it's like a light come through. I mean, always smiling and always time to talk. You know, I wish we could have spent a little bit more time, but I would say it's tender, man. You know, not just because what he did in baseball, because everybody remember that, but what he did off the field, you know, to serve his country, you know, and miss 2 years, it was pretty amazing.
We'll have lineups and first pitch from Houston right after this.
A three-game set. The Angels, of course, have dropped the first two of this one. They had their six-game winning streak snapped on Friday night, and then last night, of course, they dropped Game 2 by the final of 7-2. And very strong pitching performances so far by the Houston Astros. Lance McCullers Jr. on Friday night. Last night it was Colin McHugh, and we'll see what the Angels can do against Mike Fiers as the Astros are just about ready to take the field. They're wearing their alternate blue tops. And Gooby, it's really the offense that has not really done a whole lot so far through the first two games of this series.
Yeah, you thought the way they swung the bats at home in that six-game win streak, crushing the baseball that off day, and all of a sudden the timing has been off at the plate, especially with runners in scoring position. But they've had some success against Mike Fiers, so hopefully that'll be the case again today.
Well, with the Astros having taken the field, we'll check out Mike Scioscia's lineup for the Angels. They are bringing up the rear in the American League West in 5th place, 12.5 back. YUNEL Escobar will lead things off and play third. Cole Calhoun at right, Mike Trout at center. Albert Pujols at DH, Daniel Nava in left field as Andrelton Simmons at shortstop. G-Man Choi at first, Jeff Bandy behind the plate, Gregorio Petit batting ninth and playing second base as they take on a 31-year-old right-hander native of Hollywood, Florida by the name of Mike Fiers.
Fiers fastballs 87-91 range, slider, cut fastball, curveball, and changeup. But my go-to is to be successful against him. Stay connected. That order for the Angels with Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs against him, and second-time charm. Second time through the lineup, .331 batting average with 10 home runs, 25 RBIs against Fires. Very good. The first time around, second time, not so good.
Check out the defense for the Astros today. Preston Tucker left, Carlos Gomez in center, Colby Rasmussen right, George Springer serving as a DH today. Luis Valbuena, Carlos Correa, and Jose Altuve along with Marwin Gonzalez from third to first, and Evan Gattis back behind the plate for the second straight game.
And Rasmus out in right field, 10 outfield assists, tied for second as far as outfield assists in the American League. The Astros in general in the outfield, very good throwing arms, 30 outfield assists, which leads the majors in that category. So very difficult to take that extra base against this outfield of the Astros.
YUNEL ESCOBAR ready to lead things off. The Angels trying to pick up a W on getaway day. They will head up to Kansas City to start a 3-game series tomorrow. All 3 night games in KC. Rangers and the Royals wrapping up their 3-game set at Kauffman this afternoon. First one on the way, and it's a little bit high. Escobar last night 2 for 4. And .318 with 3 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Grounds this one towards short. Correa's got it. A little bit of a bobble there. And they'll throw out Escobar for the first out.
Monday key for this game, go a little Def Leppard here. Pour some sugar on it, especially when we know they've struggled a lot of late against the Astros, losing 10 in a row, including the first 2 games here in Houston. Bottom line is, if you could swing the bat early on and put some numbers up there for Lincecum, pull out this win here before we go to Kansas City.
1 out, nobody off for Cole. .285 batting average after going 0 for 3. Pardon me, 1 for 3 last night. First one upstairs. You'll see that quite a bit from Mike Fiers. Likes to live up in the upper part of the strike zone.
That's why you see 16 home runs against him.
Picked up in a July deal last year with the Milwaukee Brewers. Drops the hammer. That's in there for a strike. 1-1. Fourth start of his career against the Angels. 0-1, a 6.75 ERA. All the way outside. Last start against the Angels was at the Big A. The Angels roughed him up for 7 runs on 8 hits, just 3 2/3.
Good hitters count right now for Cole. Good numbers against Fiers. 3 for 9 with a home run.
Big swing, got a fastball. Full count. '19th game of the season, 18th start for Fiers. 6-4, 4.75 ERA. Although he's pitched better here in this ballpark than he has out on the road. As a matter of fact, an ERA of close to 7 out on the road this year. 3-2. Cole fouls it off, protecting his AB. Reset and do it again.
Yeah, when you look at the splits for him, lefty versus righty, pretty close. Lefties hitting .282 against righties, .288. Lefties with 7 home runs, righties with 9 home runs against them. Starts on the first base side of the pitching rubber.
Another foul.
A lot of times when pitchers do that, they want to be able to make sure they're able to get their fastballs in against left-handed batters. More direct line towards the left-handed batter, the inside corner.
That is ripped right to the first baseman, Marwin Gonzalez. 2 down.
Well, you can't hit a baseball any harder than Cole Calhoun did. Right at Gonzalez. Stayed back on that fastball well, lined it right at him. Gets by him, that's down in the corner for a double, at least.
So 2 outs, nobody on, and here's Trout. .314 batting average with 19 home runs, 62 runs batted in. Cuts through the first one. Michael with a different look today. Pant legs pulled up. And some bright white shoes. Mixing it up. This one's hooked to left.
It's worked.
He's going to turn and try to go to second, and no throw from Preston Tucker. Trout is on board with his first hit of the series.
It's all about the shoes.
Those are the Ken Griffey Swingman Hall of Fame shoes he's sporting today. Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Piazza going into the hall.
I think he's channeling his Billy White Shoes Johnson Houston Oilers shoes.
Oh, I like it. I like it. So man in scoring position for Albert. This one's fouled. Albert wearing the same type of shoes in honor of Ken Griffey Jr. Jose Altuve's got him as well. Carlos Gomez out at center.
I think I should be wearing them. I helped him get into the Hall of Fame.
You contributed, right?
Yes.
On ball, 1 strike. Albert hitting .249, 19 home runs, 72 runs batted in. 0 for 4 last night. Halos last night 1 for 6 with men in scoring position. That's been a struggle for them throughout the series. Just 2 hits in the series with men in scoring position. And Albert skies this one on the left side. Luis Valbuena coming down the line. And in fair territory puts it away, and the Angels are done here in the first. Right to the bottom of the first, scoreless. First inning, the Houston Astros come into play today, 2.5 back in the American League West behind the Texas Rangers. This is the lineup that AJ Hinch will run out. Mentioned George Springer DHing. He's the leadoff man. Marwin Gonzalez at first. Jose Altuve is second. Carlos Correa the shortstop and the cleanup hitter. Luis Valbuena at third base. Evan Gattis, a multi-homer game last night. He's back behind the plate. Colby Rasmussen right. Carlos Gomez at center. Preston Tucker batting ninth. He will play left field as they take on Tim Lincecum, making his 7th start with the Angels. 2-3 so far on the season.
He had 2 and 3. You mentioned that ERA, pretty high ERA for Lincecum. My go-tos for him to be successful today, though. Remember success against the Astros. 5-1 with a 1.60 career-wise, and finished hitters early. We've seen that throughout the series. Some long at-bats, fouling off some tough pitches before some successful swings. Finish them off quickly.
First one down and in for ball 1. Tim's coming off a start in which he gave up 5 runs, 3 earned. 5 innings against the Texas Rangers. Ended up picking up the W that day. Springer a swing and a miss. That's 1 ball, 1 strike. Lincecum's pitched well this ballpark. He's taking a look at Springer and his numbers on the year. 4 career starts for Tim in this park. 2-0 and a .34 ERA. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's just off the plate. 3-1.
Pretty good slider there for Lincecum. Fastball's going to be 87 to 91 range. Slider, curveball, split finger changeup.
Break the ball a little bit high, and it's a leadoff walk. Check out the Angels defensively. It's Daniel Nava starting in left field. Mike Trout at center. Cole Calhoun in right. The infield with YUNEL, ESCOBAR, and Andrelton Simmons on the left. Gregorio Petit and G-Man Choi on the right. Jeff Bandy behind the plate.
G-Man Choi at first base will be active here, especially with the way the Astros try to run the bases. Started 8 of the last 9 games at first base. One of 5 Angels to start at first this season. Been getting better and better. First base position for the Angels. Turned 4 double plays also.
There's Marwin Gonzalez. Switch hitting first baseman, hitting .253 with 8 home runs, 26 RBIs. And the first one is up and away.
Boy, as aggressive that Springer is on the first pitch, he swings at the first pitch a lot, a little over 42%. He does have a pretty good eye. He leads the team as far as walks on the Astros now with 53 on the season.
Jerry Lane, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Scott Berry at first, Trip Gibson at second, Hunter Wendelstedt at third as Lincecum falls behind here 2-0. 3-0, pardon me. He's one of those guys that likes to work very quickly. Springer over at first base, back-to-back games, leading off the game for the Astros with a walk. 3-1. Jose Altuve on deck. Good lead for Springer, doesn't go, and Gonzalez pulls one to right, a base hit. Springer will stop at second. And the Astros with runners at first and second and nobody out for Altuve.
Down and got that pitch, got it by between first and second. Pressure right away on Lincecum and the Angels, especially with Altuve at the plate now.
Altuve in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak. He's hitting .357 on the year. During this streak, he's hit .531, and against the Angels this season, a .477 batting average. 1 hit last night, going 1 for 4. That is driven out to deep left center field. A no-doubter, 3-run blast for ALTUVE. And the Astros take the early 3-0 lead.
And ALTUVE devastating on the high pitch. And he got one. Aggressive, early pitch upstairs, and extremely strong. 16th home run, now giving him 57 RBI.
Seventh home run that Lincecum is allowed as a member of the Angels. Carlos Correa takes a breaking ball for a strike. Still nobody out, bases clear. The last night it was a 3-run home run off the bat of Evan Gattis in the second inning. Astros get down here in the first to Correa's numbers on the season. 2 for 3 last night.
Falling behind hitters here early on for Lincecum.
Three-one count. Luis Balbuena on deck. Correa lifts one out to right field. Cole has to come in on it. One down. So the first out recorded here in the first, and here comes Balbuena, the third baseman. Ended up going 1 for 4 last night. The Astros had a total of 10 hits against the Angels. 3 of them were home runs, 2 by Gattis, 1 by Correa. G-Man Choi hit 1 for the Angels. Their 2 runs. Balbuena takes upstairs. Shift on with the left-handed batter up. A couple of times last night, showing bunt, trying to see if he could bring ESCOBAR in over at third base. Caught the inside corner. He was accounted 1-1.
So the important thing when you look at Lincecum is the drive towards the plate in his delivery. Much better in the last 2 breaking pitches.
Breaking pitch, and that's hit well to right. Cole will watch this one go. It's a second home run of the inning. Into the second deck, and it's 4-0 Houston.
Man, if you ask Lincecum his ideal pitch there, if you're going to throw a breaking ball, it would be able to bounce, especially ahead of the count. But that one got too much of that inside part of the plate against a left-handed batter, and he's able to drop the barrel of the bat on that one and hook it well out to right field for his 13th home run.
So Gattis will bat with a 4-0 lead and 1 out, nobody on. 6th career multi-homer game last night, first this year. One ball but strike, and only got the start last night because Castro was scratched after batting practice. He had been hit on a foul tip the night before. Whoever got the start behind the plate, he's back there once again today.
1-2 now. 224 batting average for the catcher. This one's skied to a shallow center near the infield dirt. Teat makes the grab. 2 down. So 2 outs, the bases cleared. Rasmus now at the plate. Rasmus has been hitless in 6 games. Longest streak since 2014. So the average has dipped down to 229. Shoots this one toward the middle, but with the shift, Don Simmons has it. And the Astros are done here in the bottom of the first, but they strike for 4 runs on a couple of home runs. We'll head to the second. Angels trailing at 4-0. A 3-run home run by Jose Altuve, a solo shot by Luis Valbuena, giving the Astros the early lead as Daniel NAVA will lead things off for the Angels. NAVA back at left field after Todd Cunningham got the start in left last night. 231 batting average for the veteran, a home run at 12 RBIs. One ball, one strike.
Well, extremely important for the offense to respond right back, especially at the role the pitching staff for the Astros have been on here in this series, go along with the offense.
Now Friday night going 0-4. Takes a strike on the inside corner. 1-2.
One thing we've seen from the Astro pitchers against the Angels that have been very successful is the breaking ball, whether it's slider or curveball. McCullers had that working. McHugh the same thing, and now Fire so far with his breaking ball.
One-two from Fires. Upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You mentioned with Fiers, a guy that lives in the upper part of the strike zone. The offense can get it going, figure it out. They could get back into this game fairly quickly. Breaking ball back toward the middle. That's Correa, the shortstop, to the backhand. He'll retire NAVA for the first out.
And now it's time for our tools of the trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks, with Andrew Simmons coming to the plate. We know how he can perform that magic in the field, and he has been fantastic with the glove. But what he has done at the plate, especially in the month of July, he has been driving the baseball to all fields, up the middle, the other way, turning on some pitches. He's got a .409 batting average in the month of July for Anderson Simmons. It's the second best in the month of July. Joey Votto at the top at .412. Mookie Betts, who we'll see in Anaheim when we get back home, .406 in the month of July.
Simmons backing out there as that pitch was being delivered. Takes a strike to even the count. This is a ground ball to the right side and a base hit, so he just keeps on going.
Well, just like we pointed out in our tools of the trade, that he's staying back on the baseball so well. And that toe tap, that double toe tap he has. 1, 2, follow through on the swing, line drive the other way. His timing has been perfect as far as getting the barrel of the bat on the baseball, consistently using the whole field.
And still, he just seems like he gets more and more comfortable seeing more pitches per at bat, where early on he was leading the world and swinging for early.
Exactly.
The fewest pitches seen per at bat.
Yeah, for the longest time between him and Johnny Giavitello at the tops as far as least amount of pitches seen per plate appearance.
Ji-Man Choi takes a strike.
And when you're able to hit the ball, Victor, the other way, that means you're allowing the baseball to travel. You're seeing the baseball well, so you don't have a problem if you're behind in the count. That's why Trout is so good behind in the count, because he lets the baseball travel and see some pitches.
Ball and a strike on Choi. Last night going 1 for 4 with a home run, his second. Total of 3 runs batted in. This one's lifted out toward left field, slicing away from Tucker, and near that wall. Can't make the play, and it's foul.
Well, a lot like Fenway Park as far as the high wall in left field, and then not much foul territory down the line. Tucker gets to the wall and then reaches up and unable to make the play. Got there in plenty of time.
Right off the glove. Guess you conceivably could give him an error.
I was thinking, yeah, you would think so.
And they are going to give him an error. One-two count on Choi. .44th error committed by the Astros. They've been pretty good defensively all season. Shift on against Choi. Now Gattis going to go out and talk things over with Fiers. One out single for Simmons. He stands at first. Halos trailing at 4-0. Breaking pitch, and this one's hit down to center. Long run for Gomez, but it's like he's tracking it. Simmons back to first. Might want to tag. He's going to try to go to second. A throw from Gomez trickles all the way to second, but Simmons is still gunned down. They're going to take a look at it, I think.
See if he got his hand in there.
Well, it's a double play, guys. If it is a double play, the Astros can come off the field, and they're staying on the field. So I wonder if Mike Scioscia is going to take a look at it.
Tried to avoid the tag. Was he able to keep his hand on the base also? That's the thing. And hopefully he's okay going back also. Looks like he's okay.
None of the Astros have moved from their position. Normally, they usually start walking. Guys from the dugout, the Houston side, waving their players in. And sure enough, the Angels are not going to challenge it.
So you got his hand in there, but the tag is applied, and there's a little separation between the hand and the base and the tag by Altuve. Another outfield assist. We talked about it before. That's the 31st outfield assist for the Astros.
Tagged out at second base, and like we said, going to break. Hopefully he's all right. Look like, and we've talked about this a number of times before, Gooby, in this ballpark, they really wet the infield dirt, especially with the roof closed here. And it almost like you see by the uniform, like that body jarred into the ground. And I thought for a second he kind of grabbed like the right ankle area when he slid in there.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't look comfortable walking around in a shortstop position. You see all that mud on him already. Just from that slide to second base.
I mean, he almost stopped when he dove head first. As Carlos Gomez leads things off, the center fielder. Bounces this one foul to even account at a ball and a strike.
That slight hesitation and then goes. Wonder if he didn't hurt himself when he stopped and then started up again.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Again, a lot of times when you're struggling against a team, you try to be a little bit more aggressive than normal. Actually, for me, I don't really have a problem with that play. You're trying to get in a scoring position. You got the lower part of the order coming up.
Full count. Just that little hesitation, though.
Yep.
Cost him. It wasn't a great throw by Gomez, but at least it went right to Altuve.
It's his 7th outfield assist this season.
Payoff. And he walked him. Put a man on to start the second. Hey, every fan matters. Angels taking on the Red Sox Sunday, July 31st. It's a 12:35 start. Fans in attendance will receive a one-of-a-kind umbrella hat, courtesy of Waba Grill, while supplies last. Visit angels.com/promotions to get your tickets today.
Well, what we say would be a key for Tim Lincecum today is getting those early, quick outs in the bats. He's had a tough time with that.
Second walk issued by Tim.
And you can fully expect the Astros to be aggressive as far as trying to steal bases against Lincecum. Does have 4 career pickoffs.
Swing by Tucker. Fouls it back.
Boy, in this game right here, I'm looking at the velocity on the fastball early on for Lincecum. An 85, 86, 87 range. Last time out, last few times out, he's been touching 90, 88 to 90. He's still trying to build that arm strength back.
Lifted to shallow left. Long run in for Nava. Simmons cutting out. Nava will let this one bounce, and it goes into the seats. So it'll go as a double, and Gomez has to stop at third base. It's like Daniel at the last second pulled up. So second and third with nobody out.
There's no way Simmons, as much ground as he can cover, cannot get there at that point. It's going to have to be up to Nava to make that play, and he stops down there anticipating maybe Simmons getting there. There's no way he can cover that much ground.
Second and third, nobody out, infield in, with Houston up 4-0 here in the second. George Springer takes a strike. He worked the walk in his first plate appearance. In tight. Last night, Jared Weaver lasted 4. Chacin had to go 4 out of the pen as this one misses in. A 2-1 count. This ground ball, and it'll pass Simmons into left center. 2 runs will come in to score, and it's a 6-0 Astros lead here in the second.
Yeah, with the infield in, that angle, shorter angle to get to the baseball as compared to playing back, but forced to be in now, being behind 4-0 early in the game with the infield in. Ground ball gets through. 2 more RBIs for Springer.
Now there's nobody out, and Springer over in first. Marwin Gonzalez comes up. Had a single his first time up. 5 hits already in the game against Lincecum. That one is downstairs. This one's popped up on the third base side, headed toward the seats. Good lead for Springer at first. 1-1 now. And that is skied to right. towering fly ball. Cole Calhoun in a couple of steps. One down.
Aggressive on the first pitch against Lincecum. 3-run home run.
16th of the season, new career high for him. Surpassed 15 hit last year. Now 9-game hitting streak. Another big rip. No balls and a strike. The off-speed pitch, and this is in.
Not easy to pitch to Altuve when you think about the plate coverage he has, especially very good on high pitches in the upper part of the strike zone, quick inside.
Altuve now with 57 runs batted in with that 3-run home run in the first. It's the 122nd home run hit by the Astros. 123rd was hit by VALBUENA later in the first. Two. He hits this one out to left field. Nava's going to watch this one hit the top of the fence, and that's gone. Hunter Wendelstedt, the third base umpire, making the home run call. So it's a multi-homer game for Jose Altuve. And it's 8-0 Houston.
Off-speed pitch down and in.
It almost looked like it hit either the railing or a chair and came back into play. Charles Nagy's going to go out and pay a visit. So Altuve with a multi-homer game. That's his second career for Altuve. Together last September. The Angels start to get the bullpen cranked up. Dale Esguerra, first man up. 45 pitches in, and it has been a bad afternoon for Tim Lincecum.
And behind in the count. Not quite the velocity he had been starting to pick up as far as his fastball.
Carlos Correa 0 for 1 with a fly ball to right.
And if you notice when on that follow through from Lincecum is pulling off that front shoulder, opening up, that brings that slider well off the outside part of the plate. When he's good, he's driving and keeping that front shoulder going straight down.
3 balls, 1 strike. Astros came into play today, having won 10 straight against the Angels. And Correa drives one out the left center field. Trout's not going to get there. Little short hop defense. Correa is on his way to second with a double.
Valbuena back in the first inning. It's our AT&T high-speed replay pitch on the lower part of the strike zone. Hit well out upper deck for Valbuena. Stayed back on that one well. Got the barrel of the bat on that one, and it got out quickly. My associate to the mound. Now going to take out Tim Lincecum. Bringing in Dialis Guerra. Tough outing today for Tim Lincecum, who's had great numbers in his career against the Astros.
Certainly did not have it today. 8-0 Houston with a pitching change here in the bottom of the second. Houston up 8-0. Bottom of the second inning. Dialis Guerra is on in relief of Tim Lincecum. It's our in and out. Who's in, who's out. This will be the 20th game that Guerra has pitched for the Angels this season. 2-0, 2.86 ERA, 19 strikeouts, 1 walk in 28 and a third innings. And he's a guy that you could probably get a couple of innings out of him. Not sure that you can get the 4 that you got out of Chacin last night, but you'd like to at least stop the bleeding, if you will, here in the second inning and get the Angels back into the dugout.
And it's going to force Mike Scioscia to use a number of relievers today in this game.
Luis Valbuena with a home run his first time up. Got a man in scoring position in Correa. First one a little bit high. Home run for Valbuena's 13th of the year. 40th run batted in. One.
It's a good changeup. Always enables Guerra to get back into counts.
Valbuena lifts one out toward left. Nava moving over onto the track will make the catch. Correa hustles back to second. 2 down. So 2 outs and a man in scoring position. Evan Gattis up. Popped out for Gregorio Petit, his first time up. Gattis, the 8th man at the bat here in the second. Three infielders on the left. Good rip at a fastball.
Good location with this fastball there. Lower part of the strike zone. He's going to be around 89 to 90, 91 range on his fastball. Breakable solid, but his changeup 8+ pitch has been very effective for him.
Here comes the 1-2. Fastball away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Astros with 4 in the first, 4 so far here in the second. They've got another man in scoring position in Correa. Picked up a double. His 22nd of the year. Breaking ball, got him looking. Gattis knew it. And this inning comes to an end. So Garrett gets those final 2 outs, but the Astros strike for 4. They lead it 8-0 as we head to the third.
Kia Hall of Fame Sunday. Hall of Famers who played for the Angels: Bert Blyleven, Rod Carew, Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson, Eddie Murray, Frank Robinson, Nolan Ryan, Don Sutton, Lloyd Wilhelm, and Dave Winfield. There's Nolan's number here in Houston. Retired also in Angel Stadium and Texas.
Jed Bandy takes a strike. Nolan's son, one of Nolan's sons, Reed, the president of the Houston Astros. We see Nolan on occasion here in this ballpark. 8-0 run for the Angels. Jed Bandy, Gregorio Petit, YUNEL Escobar down 8-0 here in the top of the third. Chet had the night off last night with Carlos Perez getting the start. Comes in batting .274 in 28 games. 3 home runs and 14 runs batted in.
A special day in Cooperstown today for Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Piazza, newest members of the Hall of Fame.
Breaking pitch, rolled foul. And that's line to center. Boy, a missile off the bat of Jeff Bandy. Lead-off single brings up Petit.
It's a good swing there by Jeff Bandy. Stayed back on that one well. Middle part of the field. 2 good swings so far today. We'll make it 3 with Trouts. With Simmons and Bandy. Middle to other way on swings on fastballs.
Gregorio bounces this one towards short, backhanded by Correa, bobbles it. So Petit will reach. Bandy over to second.
Would have been a tough play, a long off-balance throw by Correa over the first, with Petit running down the line. There's tough calls as an official scorekeeper. They either give an error or an infield hit here. He's trying to come in on the backhand and quickly get rid of it. So being a base hit.
So first and second. And nobody out. Top of the order now, YUNEL Escobar at the plate. Escobar 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up. He lines this one out to center field. That's a base hit. Bandy is going to be waved. No, he's going to be stopped now. Ron Renicky initially waving Bandy home. Thought differently at the last second. The Angels have him loaded.
Especially behind in the game as much as the Angels are, you don't want to take a shot, especially you've already seen what Gomez can do as far as throwing the baseball. And Ron Renicky knows him very well from his days in Milwaukee. And when I've talked to Ron about that, as far as with Gomez in center field, when he feels that he's charging the baseball, you're more apt to hold the runner. If he's going left or right, then you'll take a shot. Gomez was charging that baseball, decided, you know, smart decision to stop Bandy at third.
Cole swinging first pitch. Fouls it off. Calhoun 0 for 1. He lined out sharply to Marwin Gonzalez his first time up.
Reached base in 18 straight games. Scored 17 runs. So picked up 14 walks.
This one's lifted out toward left center field. Gomez and Tucker. Gomez taking charge. He'll make the catch. Bandy tags. He's coming home. And the Angels get on the board. Sac fly for Cole Calhoun. And it is 8-1 Houston.
And the reason why you saw Gomez calling off Tucker, because it's an easier throw for Gomez to throw to third base on that fly ball. Sac fly as compared to Tucker, left-handed throwing left fielder, would have allowed potentially Cheat to be able to tag up from second. Called him off. Good throw to be able to throw towards third base at that angle. Smart decision by Gomez at center.
Here's Trout swinging first pitch, and he pops it up. Altuve calling for it. Infield fly rule called. 2 outs.
One of the Angels this year against the Astros with runners in scoring position is 210. The Astro pitchers continue to make quality pitches with runners in scoring position.
Well, we mentioned the struggles they've had Monday and then last night. Conceivably could have a bases loaded, no out situation and only get one out of it. Albert takes low. Petit at second, Escobar at first. Pujols to fly a ball out his first time up. Popped out to Luis Valbuena.
In their only win against the Astros this year with runners in scoring position, 6 for 11, but just 170 in these 10 losses.
That was a game against Fires. Two-0. Strike. Two-one on the way. Albert lifts one out to shallow left center field. Gomez comes in. That's all the Angels will get. Bases loaded, nobody out. They get one. We head to the bottom of the third. 8-1 Houston. Astros up 8-1, bottom of the third inning. Dale Esguerro came in and got the final 2 outs of the second inning. Back out of the bump. Rasmus, Gomez, Tucker coming up for Houston. That's the bottom third of the order. Rasmus 0 for 1. He grounded out to Simmons his first time up. Off the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Three 3-0. Kind of odd for Guerra. It has 1 walk as an Angel. strike. Rasmus 0 for his last 26. Head of the count at 3 balls, 1 strike with Gomez on deck. And he walked him. Now he has 2 walks.
Yeah, this is the second one of the season. Pretty amazing numbers for Guerra as far as throwing a lot of strikes.
Gomez worked to walk his first time up. He swings first pitch, fouls it off. A little bit high. Lincecum ended up going up, inning in a third. 7 hits, 3 home runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. This one's pulled to left and headed toward the corner. Rasmus, good speed, will turn and head to third. Nava comes up firing, and Rasmus keeps on running. RBI double for Carlos Gomez, and the Astros get that run back, and it's 9-1. But you could just see Rasmus picking up speed as he sniffed a run opportunity.
Yeah, and when you think about Rasmus, you think, okay, he's got pretty good speed, but when you watch him run, his strides are very long and quick. Not too often you can score from first base in this ballpark when you hit the ball to left field. As Nava's going towards that baseball, Harry Pettis sending Rasmus. Those strides he has, easily scores the 9th run of the game for the Astros. #15th double of the season for Gomez.
Preston Tucker, ground rule double his first time up. Snuck one inside the left field foul line. Pulls this one foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Astros certainly have remained relentless. Stymied a bit by Matt Shoemaker Friday night, but last night on they have swung the bats, and authoritatively is probably the way to put it. Not gotten cheated at the plate. This one fouled off. Count remains at 0-2.
Yeah, the Astros hitters have really done a nice job as far as getting himself into good counts, allow him to get those big, strong swings that they've had. They're a team that will strike out a lot, but when they're put in the fastball counts, they are a very dangerous lineup, especially with the power they possess.
Tucker will pick his base.
Second time he's been hit around the leg area on a pitch, especially behind in the count. Overthrown breaking ball. Hit with a pitch on the bounce. That's what he got hit on the toe on a breaking ball.
So first and second, nobody out. And it's George Springer, top of the order now. Springer with a walk and a single. Chopper toward short. Simmons has it. A little bit of a bobble. Gets rid of it to Petit, and they turn the double play. 2 down.
Tell you what, Petit could turn a real good double play. How quick his transfer and strong throwing arm is, even with that little bit of a bobble from Simmons. So able to complete a 6-4-3 double play. Petit, no time getting rid of that baseball to be able to turn 2. Ball's out of his glove in a second.
The 2 outs, Gomez standing at third. It's 9-1 Houston. Here's Marwin Gonzalez, who takes down low. Gonzalez with a single and a fly ball out. Ball at a strike. Just missed it. Altuve on deck. 8 hits for Houston through 2 2/3. Altuve with 2 home runs. Valbuena has a solo shot. That's a pretty good pitch. Borderline. Doesn't go Guerra's way. 3 balls, 1 strike. Foul back. Full count. Astros answering. Angels lone run at the top of the inning. A walk to start off the inning to Rasmus, and a double by Gomez, who stands at third. And he got him swinging to end the inning. The Astros get a run. It's 9-1 as we head to the 4th. Halos will send up Nava, Simmons, and Choi here against Mike Fiers. 5 hits allowed by Fiers so far. Nava grounded out his first time. He's 0 for 1. And will take a strike. No strikeouts, no walks for Fiers as the Angels start to get action in the pen. One ball, one strike. Gonzalez. Nava rips one to right. Rasmus plays shallow just like Springer does. Makes the catch for the first out. Every fan matters. Angels taking on the Athletics on Tuesday, August the 2nd. It's a 7:05 start. Fans in attendance will receive an Angels soccer scarf courtesy of Microsemi while supplies last. Go to angels.com/promotions.
Someone who feels too, don't you think it's a better idea to play a shallow outfield, whether it's left or right here in this ballpark? Rasmus generally will play shallow whether he's in left or right. Ball was hit well, but playing in makes the play on it.
Andrelton Simmons takes a strike. 1 for 1 with a base hit. One and two. Fiers so far has been under control. Hasn't been erratic with his control. Breaking ball misses down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He can be one of those guys too who lets the emotions get to him and tries to overthrow and elevates his fastball even more so. And you're right, Victor, under control here so far. Getting some early run support helps you out also.
2-2. Goes off speed. Did not go around. Full count.
Still pretty amazing how many pitches per plate appearance we're seeing now from Simmons during this stretch, of which he's hit the ball so well as compared to earlier in the season, seeing way more pitches.
Ground ball toward the hole. Even if Correa gets it, might be a tough play. Doesn't even have a throw. An infield base hit.
And the hits continue for Simmons.
The G-Man Joy will bat. Joy takes a strike. G-Man 0 for 1 with a fly ball. Upstairs. Scoreless in Kansas City, the Rangers and the Royals. That game in the bottom of the 4th. A bunt. Fiers picks it up, fires to first. Gets Joy for out number 2.
Didn't quite get it down the third base line enough. Fiers fields his position well, as you can see, stayed low on the throw. A more athletic throw for a pitcher. A lot of times you'll stand straight up and try to throw that it could run right into the runner going down the line.
To a man in scoring position for Jet Bandy, who's 1 for 1. Line to single to center his first time up. Blue Jays shut out Seattle. That had to have been a quick game. Well, Miley was pitching.
Yes.
So was J. Happ. So
that's the old
221 on getaway.
It's the old one. Your pitcher after your offense scores what 14 runs the night before, you're like, oh, I'm in trouble, and he was in trouble.
Bandy lifts one out to left field. Preston Tucker is there. Halos are done here in the 4th. Right at the bottom of the inning, 9-1 Houston.
Jose Altuve coming to the plate, and this is what he has done so far in this game. It's worthy of a Carl's Cam replay. First inning, 3-run home run, all Tim Lincecum, and then in the second inning on a pitch down and in, a 2-run home run for Altuve. Career high as far as RBI in the game, 5 in the game for Altuve to go along with his 2 home runs.
Going to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th. Altuve, Correa, and Valbuena. Fernando Salas takes over on the mound for Deolis Guerra, who ended up going an inning and 2/3. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Pardon me, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. Salas pitching now in his 44th game, 3-6 record, of 5.10 ERA.
Well, you see what he's done in his last 21 games. 8.55 ERA after starting out the season very well with an ERA just over 2. His fastball velocity and command has not been the same. Changeup, usually his go-to pitch. He's left a few of them out over the plate during this stretch also.
1 ball, 1 strike on Altuve. A couple of home runs. Second career multi-homer game. I mentioned those numbers for Salas. It's basically from June 1st on. 8th game in the month of July. He skies this one. Out to shallow center. Gregorio Petit underneath it. 1 out. So here comes Correa, the cleanup hitter. A fly ball to right his first time up, doubled. Short hop the fence in left center field. 22nd double. Eventually stranded at second base. One ball, no strikes. Kendrys Morales just got the Royals on the board with a home run. Correa fouls it off.
One thing about Correa, he's been very good as far as inner part of the plate, middle part of the plate. He's had a tough time on outside pitches. It's 178 batting average for Correa, especially when it's down and away.
Takes a strike.
Just like that, out of part of the plate.
This is pulled past the third baseman Escobar. Correa's going to try to go to two. Nava's throw is not in time.
Ran that pitch up and in, and that's the zone in which Correa's hit the ball very, very well. Second double of the game. How quick his hands are on the inner part of the plate, brings his hands inside well, and that good speed that he has slides in for second double. 23rd double now in the season for Correa. Well, we talked about Correa and Altuve to start the series and the numbers they've had in their careers against the Angels. Well, they're having a good series here once again.
So Valbuena will bat with the man in scoring position. Cuts through the first one. Home run in his first at bat, a solo shot. A fly out, his last plate appearance.
Correa now hitting 400 this year against the Angels. Altuve 489.
Sal is now behind in the count at 2-1. Multi-double game for Correa.
A couple really good shortstops right there with Anderson Simmons, Carlos Correa.
Chopper foul. Two balls, two strikes. Correa standing at second base with one out. Just the bottom of the fourth. 9-1 Houston. A little battle here. Good off-speed pitch. Down goes Valbuena. 2 down.
Now that's the good changeup from Fernando Salas, the one we had the early part of the year. We had that ERA just over 2. Very good changeup, good action with it, running down and away from a left-handed batter. Perfect pitch.
I like the Valbuena kind of tip of the cap to Salas after that. Swing and a miss, realizing, basically telling Fernando, good pitch. I'm sure you appreciated that as a pitcher. Gattis a foul. Started off his plate appearance.
I'm sure I would have said some nice things back. Like, I really appreciate your compliment.
Your affirmation.
Yes. Always loved my conversations with hitters over the years.
Were they really conversations?
Well, quick ones.
Quick ones. Right?
Yeah.
More quips than anything. Little roller toward third. Escobar comes in. Off balance throw. Gattis retired. And the inning comes to an end. 4 complete here at Houston. Astros on top 9-1.
This telecast of Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is brought to you by Infinity. Visit your local Southern California Infinity retailer for a test drive today.
And by El Pollo Loco. Try the new overstuffed quesadillas today. Angels trailing this one by the score of 9-1. Here at the top of the 5th inning. Let's take a look at the in-game box score. Not a whole lot for the Angels. A multi-hit game for Angelton Simmons with a couple of singles and a sac fly for Cole Calhoun. That's it. Mike fires back out of the bump. Facing Gregorio Petit. 9-1-2 for the Angels. Big curveball. This is upstairs. Gregorio 1 for 1 with a base hit. Pulls this one over to third. Valbuena's got it. 1 down. Top of the order now, and ESCOBAR ground out at a single, so he's 1 for 2.
By the way, Ken Griffey Jr. today in his speech at the Hall of Fame put on his hat, turn it around backwards.
Yeah.
In typical Ken Griffey Jr. fashion.
The plaque has it on the right way, though.
Yeah.
He says he might get a dummy plaque with the hat backwards. Ground over to VALBUENA. High throw, but it pulls Gonzalez off the bag, but he'll apply the tag. 2 down.
Going back to my Hyundai key for this game for the Angels to be successful, and it's been a tough one from the get-go for the Halos against this Astro club, like as it has been now for the last 11 games. Pour some sugar on me. The team has not performed real well against the Astros, especially with runners in scoring position. And that's been the big issue this entire season against the Astros.
Cole Calhoun lined down to Gonzalez's first time up, sacked fly. His last plate appearance, takes a strike. Cole picking up his 50th run batted in. That was in the 3rd inning. Lifts this one out toward left. Tucker moving back on it. They come in. Looks it away, and the Angels down in order here in the 5th inning. 9-1 Houston as we head to the bottom of the frame. The 5th inning. And a new pitcher on for the Angels. Jose Alvarez takes over after Salas ends up going to 1 inning. Alvarez pitching in his 42nd game, 1-2 mark at a 4.26 ERA. Rasmus, Gomez, Tucker, the bottom 3rd of the order for the Astros coming up. Salas 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Rasmus a ground down and a walk. Astros exploding against Lincecum. 4 in the first, 4 in the second. Added 1 in the third. That was against Garrett. In tight, even account.
The Astros with 3 more home runs in this game, 124 on the season.
It sounded like it ricocheted off something. Obviously nobody claiming anything, so it's 2 balls, 1 strike. With that, I'm hearing things now, which is possible. Two balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good spot right there with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Lifted foul and out of play.
This Houston Astro club has been playing very well of late. Closed the gap in the AL West to 2.5 games behind the Rangers, who are trailing Kansas City 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. And you wonder if the Astros are trying to pull off a deal or 2 before the trade deadline.
Wouldn't surprise me, that's for sure. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Rasmus. 1 out.
Boy, with all the rumors flying around, you just feel there's going to be a number of pretty big blockbuster deals done by August 1st, the trade deadline.
Well, they have already made 1 acquisition by signing the veteran out of Cuba, Gurriel, whom they say could be up.
Yeah, they're saying he's going to be up pretty quick here in the major leagues.
And they've got the other kid, was it Bregman, who shined at the Futures game, also a third baseman. Gomez shoots the first one foul. Gomez a walk and a double.
Well, you hear the Rangers, you hear the Indians. Red Sox have already been active as far as making some deals for their club.
No way they're done. Unless the price gets ridiculously high, as this one is found 0-2 now.
And Dave Dombrowski loves that action as far as the trade deadline adding on. He's done a nice job with the Red Sox as is, and they're playing very good themselves.
They're saying that the Indians have a really close to a deal for Aroldis Chapman. How about that anchor on the rotation?
Especially with that starting rotation they have. I mean, you're talking about power arms to start the game and then an even stronger arm to finish it.
Gomez goes down swinging. 2 down. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. The thing about Dombrowski and the Red Sox is that he's not married to anybody on that roster or in the minor league system. Those are his guys. But then again, even when he was with the Tigers or the Marlins before that, or the Expos, you know, he's a guy that has always used players at the minor league level to get the players he needs right then and there as Tucker cuts through the first one.
Yeah, he's always viewed prospects as chips to be able to add to that major league roster with veteran guys that can get him that world championship. Well, even Kansas City, where we're going tomorrow to play the Royals, Wade Davis's name has been bantered around, their closer. That's been the topic in Kansas City of late. Are they going to be buyers or sellers here at the trade deadline? Remember last year they were able to pick up Johnny Cueto for the trade deadline.
See, Davis is signed through this year. There's a team option for next year. It's fouled off. 1-2. $10 million team option. $2.5 million buyout. So if you're the Royals, you consider that. Especially if you can get some guys, younger arms for the bullpen, replace them that way.
I know the Nationals are inquiring about Wade Davis.
And Tucker rips one out to right on a 1-2 count, 10-1 Houston. Fourth home run of the season.
The old hanging breaking ball. Tucker now has a double and a home run and hit by pitch in this game. This breaking ball stayed upstairs. He's able to get back and load up on the back leg to be able to drive that one out of the ballpark. Tried to throw that very similar breaking ball like he threw the Rasmus, but this time elevated in the strike zone, and Tucker hits it out.
A walk, a single, and a ground down for Springer. That puts him at 1 for 2. There's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. They get back-to-back strikeouts. A lefty to righty, get ahead of a left-handed batter. Unable to finish him off. Or home run. 2-1 now. Springer shoots it to the right side, a base hit with a shift on. Keeps the inning alive for Houston. Up 10-1 here in the 5th. And Marwin Gonzalez coming up.
5th hit of the series for Springer. Also with 3 walks.
Gonzalez spins around to hit from the right side, and he takes a strike. Marwin 1 for 3 with a single, a fly out, and a strikeout swinging. Oh, 2 count here on Gonzalez. 10-1 Astros. All Houston from the get-go. It's been that way all weekend. Ground ball back up the middle. Sounded like he broke his bat. Petit will flip it to Simmons at the last second for no reason at all. And everybody is safe. He easily had the out at first.
Yeah, at the last second decided to throw the ball to second, and Simmons was anticipating Petit throwing the ball to first base. See why that threw off Simmons, because he saw his eyes that Petit was going to throw the first, and then at the last second decided to throw back the second.
We're checking out Marwin Gonzalez over at first base. Not sure if he did something while he was coming out of the box. But it's an error for Gregorio Petit.
His first he has made at second base this season. Looked like as soon as he looked towards second when he stepped on the base, that looks like when he hurt his foot. Maybe the ankle area turning on the base.
Danny Worth takes over for Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, the Angels just have won 5 of the last 21 games here at Minute Maid Park. Have been out homered 36-16. Been a struggle in this yard.
Altuve takes outside. 2 home runs and a pop-up for Altuve, so he's 2 for 3. Springer at second and Worth at first base. And that is pulled to left, a base hit. Pettis waving home Springer. The throw from Nava on the first base side. It's an RBI single, make it 11-1 Houston.
How quick that bat is for Altuve. Pitch was down, but middle down. And another RBI, his 6th, already adding on to a career high as far as RBI in a game for Altuve.
And again, this inning started by Alvarez retiring the first 2 via the strikeout and getting ahead of Preston Tucker and not finishing him off. Hit a 1-2 count on Tucker before he homered. And that is ripped to left. Another run comes in. Altuve stops at second.
And the 2 guys we talked about in the opening of this series. If you try to not put them in situations to hurt you, well, they have once again. CORREA with another RBI, his 3rd hit of the game. Talked about Altuve a little bit ago. Both of them putting up monster numbers in this game also.
Gets a chance to face a left-handed batter now, VALBUENA. Falls behind at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well documented the struggles that Jose's had offensively or against the offense, either side, lefties or righties, but righties have been .325 against him, lefties .297. That's an overall batting average against a .312. We're seeing that here in this fifth inning. 3 runs in. It's 12-1 Houston. Runners at first and second, and a 2-0 count on Valbuena. Valbuena just gets underneath this one. Skies one to right. Inning comes to an end. We head to the 6th inning. Astros on top big time.
At 1, and Toronto wins 2-0 versus Seattle up at Rogers Center. And for our game breaks, speaking of Rogers Center, Edwin Encarnacion going the other way with that 400 sign right center field, his 27th home run of the season. AT HOU picks up the W. 13-3 as Toronto salvages 1 game against Seattle, win that one 2-0.
Danny Worth stays in the game. He's over at third base. Luis Valbuena moves from third to first. Mike Fiers is back out on the bump to start the 6th inning. 12-1 Houston. Halo sending of Trout, Pujols, and Nava. And at this point, would you say it could be the last plate appearances for, at least for Trout, maybe? 12-1 game.
It's his 750th career game. Only player ever with at least a 300 batting average, 150 home runs, 130 steals, and 500 runs scored. His first 750th game for Trout.
That's good, right?
So many times we talked about Trout and the Immortals. Well, he's the immortal now at this point as far as 750th game and numbers put up. Remember early, first, second year, numbers like Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays. Now he's creating his own numbers. Everyone else will try to do at some point.
Trout 1 for 2 with a double and infield fly. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No strikeouts or walks for Fiers. 6 hits allowed.
It's a pretty tough pitch to foul off. That's located perfectly. 89-mile-an-hour fastball just on the outside corner. Just barely off the outside corner. Just try to stay alive in this at bat for Trout.
Double for Trout, his first time up. 24th of the year. And he got him on an off-speed pitch. One down.
Something that Trout has been very good on this entire season as far as .311 batting average versus off speed, .340 batting average versus breaking balls.
Albert takes a strike. 0 for 2 so far today with a couple of fly ball outs. Albert shoots one down the right field line. Hit pretty well going toward the corner, and it is just foul. And a sneak one around that Chick-fil-A sign on the right field foul pole. 0-2.
So how close his baseball is to hitting that foul pole. Right at that 326 sign. 52 career home runs during the regular season against the Astros for Albert Pujols.
That is yanked foul. That's hit out toward right center field. Hit pretty well. Rasmus Gomez giving chase. Gomez goes into a slide and makes the catch. 2 down. That brings them to their feet here at Minute Maid.
Tell you what, that was an outstanding play on the slide to the warning track area in right center field. Especially with Rasmus in the area to slide. And able to maintain control of the baseball by Gomez. And an outfield assist earlier in the game and an outstanding play there.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Daniel Nava to play. Nava with a ground down and a line out. Upstairs. Daniel shoots one out to left field. Tucker moving back on it. In front of the out-of-town scoreboard, makes the catch for the 3rd out. Astros up 12-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Hector Santiago, Ian Kennedy in the first game of a 3-game series.
Hector's been throwing the ball exceptionally well of late. ERA 2.28. His last 7 starts, 5-0 mark. Ian Kennedy is the guy that can give up the long ball. 26 home runs allowed this season for Ian Kennedy. Once won 21 games back in 2011 for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
New pitcher on for the Angels. J.C. Ramirez takes over. And that's just one of a boatload of changes for Mike Scioscia. The only guy that is the only 2 guys remaining in the game, Cole Calhoun and Jet Bandy. Aside from that, you now have Carlos Perez at first, Johnny Giavotella at second, Gregorio Petit at short, Jeffrey Marte at third. So I guess Petit stays in the game. Gattis fouls off the first one. Pardon me, Daniel Nava moved over to right. G-Man Choi at left and Todd Cunningham in center.
Well, that fastball was some serious cut action from Ramirez at 94. What you'll see from the catchers for the Angels with Ramirez, he'll stay pretty much middle part of the plate, trust movement on his fastball. Exactly there, and a little bit off the outside corner. See, when you have that type of movement and you have your catcher setting up on the outside corner or inside corner, chances are with that movement, it's going to have the appearance of out of the strike zone, but staying in the middle, you have a better chance getting a called strike.
Pretty good pitch, got the top part of the zone.
Which could have been called a strike right there.
Gattis launches one out to deep left field, and that one is foul. I don't know about you, but I lost the baseball with the glare coming through the glass there. By the time it got down to the foul pole area, I just couldn't see it.
Especially with Gattis running down the line. Usually you have a pretty good idea if it's going to be close enough to the foul pole. Kind of wait there.
And if the call's foul and nobody else can see it and the cameras can't pick it up, tough to challenge, isn't it?
Looked like A.J. Hinch initially wanted to have someone look at it.
And that's fouled back. Another foul. That is hammered out to deep left field. A no-doubter this time. 13-1.
Fastball just ran middle of the plate, and Gattis extremely strong, especially when he gets a fastball And this baseball goes a long way. It's the 3rd home run of the series for Gattis.
16th of the season, 41st RBI. Here's Colby Rasmus. Rasmus 0 for 2.
Eight home runs in this series for the Astros.
His first home run Ramirez is allowed as an Angel. Gave up 7 in 27 games with the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, the one thing you've noticed in this series for the Astros are very aggressive, comfortable swings. And that's the one thing you don't want to see as a pitcher, comfortable swings. You have to find a way to make sure that's not the case.
One, two. Rasmus goes down swinging. One down. Hey, join us Thursday, July 28th. Angels taking on the Red Sox at 7:05. Fans in attendance will receive a box of Girl Scout cookies while supplies last as part of Girl Scout Cookie Day at the Big A. Visit angels.com/Girl Scouts for more info and details. Used a couple of boxes of Girl Scout cookies right now.
Frustrating when you think about how well the club played at home with 6 straight wins. Swung the bats extremely well. Have that off day and all of a sudden face this Astro club that has been playing very, very well, especially here at home. Coming in this game 30-19 record.
Ramirez taking over for Jose Alvarez. Jose ended up giving up 3 runs, 1 earned, 4 hits, 1 inning. There was the error by Petit. Just couldn't close out the little soft liner to Giavotella. 2 outs. The 2 outs, nobody off for Preston Tucker. Tucker 2 for 2. Home run and a double, hit by a pitch as well. Fouled off. Again, it's another big swing. Tucker lifts this one. Third base side, Marte into foul territory. And it comes to an end. Gattis home run extends the Astros lead to 13-1 as we head to the top of the 7th. Of Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is brought to you by Subaru, making the world a better place. That's why they created Subaru Loves to Care. Subaru's commitment to a healthier community. Astros on top 13-1. Some shots from the Johnson Space Center, which we visited on Friday. And
that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Chance to hang out with Angel fan and astronaut Joe Acaba. Former Gaucho. Jeffrey Marte swinging first pitch. Skies one on the third base side, and it'll go foul. Oh, what count? Joe, a big-time Angel fan. Marte hitting .227, 6 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Marte shoots one out toward left center field, chasing Tucker back, and he'll make the play. Just shy of the wall.
Certainly not an easy place to play left field in this ballpark.
There's Joe Acaba, sitting next to Ken French. Esperanza High School. Class 85. Oh, yeah.
What are you trying to say? You were a class of 85?
I was class of 85.
Can you
Not from Esperanza, but
yeah, can you call me sometime when you have no class?
I'd be calling you every minute of every day. This one's driven out to center field. Gomez going back. This one's up on Towles Hill. G-Man Choi in at second with a 1-out double.
G-Man Choi with a good swing at this fastball, heart of the plate, going right back up the middle with some distance to dead center field. Most yards, that's going to be a home run, but not in this ballpark.
Third double of the year. Nothing Gomez could do on that one. Jet Bandy takes an off-speed pitch for a strike. Bandy with a single and a fly ball out is 1 for 2. Breaking ball misses in. 84th pitch for Fires. Longest outing of the season has been 7 innings. We're in the 7th. And Bandy drives one out to deep left, no doubter. Big fly for Jet Bandy as you get the bang-a-gong out in left field.
That had some sound, some distance,
wow,
and then some resound. Fourth home run of the season for Bandy. Second hit of the game. Giving him now 16 RBI, 2 runs scored. Well, he turned on that pitch on the inner half of the plate, a fastball. Ooh, and then the sound off the wall, high off the wall.
Petit takes down low. Gregorio 1 for 2 with an infield base hit and a ground out. Byers had allowed 17 runs in his last 3 starts. One of those starts being against the Angels. Gave up 7. He's really kept the Angels offense in check entire afternoon. Sac fly by Cole Calhoun in the 3rd. Now the home run by Bandy here in the 7th. That was yanked foul. 1-2 count. We'll get some action going in the Astros pen.
Scott Feldman getting ready.
Petit goes down swinging. One out. Pardon me, 2 down. There's Carlos Perez for his first plate appearance. Flips one out to shallow right field. Rasmus not going to get there. Now they'll fall in for a hit. And Johnny Giavotella coming up. Johnny, 259 average, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs. Feldman certainly no hurry whatsoever as far as getting ready. I figure that the Fires will finish off the 7th and then worry about the 8th. All Houston today. 4 in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. Breaking pitch, ground ball to short. Correa backs up. They'll get the force out at 2nd. Good stretch time here in Houston. 13-3 Stros.
The 7th, and here's our top tier play of the game brought to you by Arco, little fan, little Astro fan. We'll race down there with the third base. Crosses the finish line, drops the base, but channels his inner Ricky Henderson saying, I am the greatest.
Today.
Taking that base with him.
Today I am the greatest of all time. And I'm taking this with me as a souvenir. Joe Smith takes over on the mound here with a 13-3 Astros lead, the bottom of the 7th. 35th game for Joe, 1-4 record, a 4.32 ERA.
Speaking of Ricky Henderson, he had one of the best speeches at the Hall of Fame of all time. What a magnificent speech he made. Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson.
Jake Marisnick is going to pinch hit here for Springer. By the way, I worked Ricky's Hall of Fame induction, and Marisnick sneaks a single up the middle. Leadoff single for the outfielder, SoCal product. Danny Worth coming up for his first plate appearance.
Yeah, that was a pretty good speech, huh?
Was. You know what it was? Worked with Harold Reynolds, anticipating that it was going to be a typical Ricky Henderson speech, speaking in the third person and so on and so forth. Nothing like it. It was a straightforward speech, and it was fantastic. Worth grounds one to short. Petit to Giavatello. On to Perez. Double play, 2 down.
That's got to be some stress. No speeches there for the Hall of Fame with all the Hall of Famers behind you, sit behind you. And lots of people out in front of you. And it's always so cool there in Cooperstown this time of the year. Nolan Ryan's number.
Altuve grounds one toward the middle. Petit gets rid of it quickly. Nice play by the shortstop, and we will head to the 8th inning with Houston on top.
Altuve now a 13-3 lead as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Kent French back with you here at Minute Maid Park, and following this one, it's all about Angels Live, presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Make sure you join myself and Jose Mota for all the highlights and reaction from this one. We'll also tee up on the series with Kansas City starting tomorrow night. But right now, very special guest joining me. You've probably seen him all over the Angels telecast the last day. This is Joe Acaba. He is the astronaut from Anaheim, California. Went to Esperanza. Also went to UC Santa Barbara. Joe, when you're not doing the space thing, do you have a chance to come out here and watch your Halos?
I do, you know, and of course, being an astronaut and coming to an Astros game is pretty cool. But when your home team is here, it's the best of both worlds. So, yeah, it's great.
And you have a story about this Angels gear, this Pujols jersey. This thing's been in space.
It has, you know. I'm an Angels fan, so I take it with me wherever I go and had the opportunity to fly it up there with me. So it's always it's fun to wear it here and just, you know, show my hometown pride.
So some of the Halos coaching staff got to visit you last year. I know you said it was a big thrill seeing Gary DiSarcina. Growing up in Anaheim as an Angels fan, who was your favorite player?
Well, you know, watching him was pretty cool. And then to actually meet him and then, you know, to watch Rod Carew and then see him get recognized this year was really pretty special. So just a bunch of great players coming through Anaheim.
138 days you spent in space. For folks that haven't been in space before, what is that experience like? Can you put it into words?
It's awesome. It's probably like, you know, winning the World Series, the Super Bowl, and all of that together. It's just a great opportunity. You know, floating around up there, seeing the Earth from 200 miles up. It's pretty awesome.
When are you going to go back?
Not soon enough, but I'd love to go back as soon as they put me in the lineup.
Awesome. Well, you're talking about wearing your Angels gear, obviously a huge fan. Do you get any grief from your fellow astronauts or anybody out here living in Houston?
Yeah, of course. Most of them, you know, are big Astros fans, and but, you know, I got to show my pride, and they give me grief. But it's all in good fun, and that's why we're all out here today.
Well, I take full responsibility for what's happening today. I forgot to tell the Halos you were in attendance. I completely spaced out.
It is your fault. So
you see what I did there? I completely spaced out. You see
I
it?
like that. That was good.
All right, Joe, well, thanks so much for spending time with us. So the feature we did this afternoon, it turned out fantastic. And hi to all your family back home.
Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and hope to see you next time you guys come out.
You got it. Thank you. All right, Victor Gooby, back to you guys.
Frenchie, we appreciate it, and it was a pleasure getting a chance to talk with Joe on Friday there at the Johnson Space Center. And watch Frenchie do leg presses.
Yes.
Or what was he doing? Squats?
He's doing some squats, showing his power. Buzz Lightyear power.
He's got those hockey legs. Albert 0 for 3, facing Scott Feldman on in relief of Mike Fiers.
Matt, what do you say? 136 days in space.
Yeah. Can you handle it?
138 days in space. I've spent pretty much 53 years, so
in space.
I think I got a beat.
Fiers went 7 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 strikeouts, no walks. Nava on deck. Halos making wholesale changes a couple of innings ago. Bottom of the 6th to be exact. Astros, the only change they've made is Feldman in for Fiers. Ground ball down the line, foul. 25th game for Feldman. Has 5 starts under his belt this year, 5-3, 2.48 ERA. Another 1-2. Another foul. Good crowds all weekend here.
What, 36,000 the first night, 35,000 last night. Pretty good crowd here again today.
What a battle. This is a base hit to right. Beats the shift.
Pretty good swing on a fastball down and away by Albert, staying with it. .88-mile-an-hour fastball, little cut fastball, stays back on that pitch, let it travel deep in the zone. Base hit in the right for Albert.
Pitch plate appearance.
First hit of the series for Albert.
Daniel Nava 0 for 3. Ground out, line out, fly ball out. Takes low. Up by 10. Valbuena, of course, playing behind Albert at first. In Kansas City, the Rangers leading the Royals 2-1. That game's in the bottom of the 8th. White Sox leading Detroit 4-0 in the 7th. This one's yanked into right field beyond the reach of Altuve.
White Sox won that suspended game too against Tigers earlier today. All the stuff circulating around with the White Sox, pretty focused on the field today. Ahead to the pitching matchups of the series in Kansas City. Hector Santiago, Ian Kennedy, Tyler Skaggs. Let's make his first start of the season, first in almost 24 months. And on Wednesday, Matt Shoemaker, Danny Duffy. Duffy's throwing the ball very well this season. Started the season in the bullpen for Kansas City, been very good as a starter. Shoemaker's been excellent himself. Looking for some run support.
Marte skies one on the left side. It's Correa making the catch. 2 down. So first and second, 2 outs. G-Man Choi up. One for 3 as he cuts through. First one gets a piece of it. Double down to straightaway center field. His last time up, 3rd double of the year. One ball, 1 strike. Angels with 11 hits today. Astros with 15 plus the long balls. Or I should say long balls are included there, with the difference being that they use the long ball early and often. Tim Lincecum got knocked around, lasting an inning and a 3rd.
What a game for Altuve once again.
Choi bouncing this one to the right side. Valbuena's got it. Beats Feldman and will record the 3rd out. So we'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 13-3 Houston.
lead the Angels 13-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. And now another game break, this time from Yankee Stadium in New York. Zamarjo on the mound, Carlos Beltran at the plate. Solo shot for Beltran, his 21st of the season. Batting average of .305, 21 home runs, 62 RBIs. Carlos Beltran as the Yankees win that series against the Giants. That game today, 5-2. Another name bantered around as far as potential trade bait, Carlos Beltran.
Cam Bedrosian takes over on the mound here at the bottom of the 8th inning with the Astros up by 10. He replaces Joe Smith. And Bedrosian will face CORREA, VALBUENA, and GATTIS. Cam pitching in his 40th game, 1-0 record of 1.03 ERA. Bedrosian, the 7th pitcher used by Mike Scioscia today. 6th reliever. CORREA fouls off the first one. Joe Smith went 1 inning and allowed a hit. Pitching to 7th.
By the way, Baltimore walked off on Cleveland for a sweep against Cleveland, who had been playing very well themselves. Baltimore had been struggling, went all 3 against the Indians in Baltimore. Raimo with a walk-off 2-run home run.
Yeah, they maintain a 1.5 lead on Boston. Watch out, that's up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He runs this fastball way up and in. CORREA able to get out of the way of that fastball from Bedrosian at 95.
CORREA with a 3-for-4 game with a couple of doubles and a single. Fouls this one. 1-2. CORREA goes down swinging on the breaking ball, 1 down. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live at HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AT HOU Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV for details. Luis VALBUENA comes up 1-for-4. Homered back in the 1st inning.
Well, in this lineup today, when you look at the Astros, 6 guys in the lineup, starting lineup with double figures in home runs. Team that relies on the long ball.
Oh, 2 down low. That went off somebody's shin guard. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pretty good sinking fastball there from Bedrosian after a couple overthrown breaking balls.
Two. Swing and a miss. 2 down.
Boy, great life on the fastball there from Cam. 2 strikeouts today, giving him 40 on the season and 35 2/3 innings pitched for Cam Bedrosian. Located perfectly, late little movement on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Cam Bedrosian, who's been very, very good of late.
Evan Gattis homered his last time up. Home run for Gattis is 16th of the year. 3rd of the series. A little country hardball right there.
He's going fastball, slider, back upstairs, but another fastball.
Gattis lofts one out to right center field, not very deep. Nava comes in, puts it away in a 1-2-3 inning for Cam Bedrosian. We head to the 9th. Angels down 10. Top of the 9th here on this Sunday afternoon. The Angels on the verge of getting swept, barring a 10-run ninth to tie things. Scott Feldman's back out of the bump. Certainly a tale of two different series. When you look at what the Angels did against the Texas Rangers on the heels of what they did to the White Sox, and then all of a sudden come in here and run into the buzzsaw. Although Friday's game, good and interesting in that Matt Shoemaker kept it very close to the Angels offense. Again, just couldn't score for him. But this buzzsaw of the Astros, they've played good baseball of late. Continue to roll this weekend.
Well, the Angels, they need a big comeback here, or otherwise they have not played a bottom of the ninth inning since July 8th.
Jet Bandy takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Yeah, you don't mind not playing the bottom of the ninth at home, but you'd like to play them on the road, that's for sure.
Bandy homered his last time up, 2 for 3 today. As the count evened up on him at 1 ball, 1 strike. Skies this one to right center field. Rasmus is there. 1 down.
Bandy 2 for 4 in this game, including a home run, a couple runs scored.
Petita 1 for 3 game. Oh, 1 count. Scorer holds, it'll be a 43-55 record for the Angels before heading up to KC. Kansas City batting in the bottom of the ninth inning, down 2-1 to Texas. 0-2 to Gregorio. A little flare toward first. Valbuena makes the catch. 2 down. Mike Fiers in line for his 7th win of the season. Tim Lincecum would suffer the loss. He would drop to 2-4. His ERA that would take a huge hit. He will jump up to 6.59 after allowing quite a few runs in the first couple of innings. First one to Carlos in first strike. Chopper towards short. Correa comes in. And the Angels get swept in Houston today, the final 13-3.
Well, Jose Altuve really got it rolling early on for the Astros as they were able to sweep this series against the Angels. 2 home runs hit by the 2nd inning, 6 RBI total. Carlos Correa, big game also, but Altuve, the story of this game for the Astros. They win this one 13-3.
The Angels continue to try to figure out the Houston Astros. 1 win on the season, and now the losing streak against the Astros unfortunately continues. 13-3 the final. Stick around. Angels Live post-game show is coming up next.